Hi, welcome back. In this video, we'll talk about non-reproducible defects. Okay, it is a general topic, and it might not be asked in any of the interview questions. Okay, but it is so important that I would really like you to pay attention to it. So, what are non-reproducible defects or random defects? So, defects which happens randomly without following unique steps. Okay, so when we find a bug, okay, it has some steps that we follow. Step number one, then we follow step number two, then we follow step number three, and after when we follow the fourth step, the defect get raised. So the steps are fixed, that if you follow this, you will get this defect or you will get this bug. Okay, but there might be a situation where you will get the bug randomly, but you don't know how the defect has been raised. Okay. Now, when as a QA, you know the defect is there in the system, but you don't know how to reproduce it. Okay. Such kind of defects are called as non-reproducible defects. Okay. Now the question arises, if you don't know how to reproduce it, then whose responsibility it is to reproduce the steps of random defects? Okay, because we know that the system is buggy, the system has defect, but we are not able to reproduce it. Then what is to be done? So the initial responsibility lies with the developer, with the QAs. Okay, it is the QA's responsibility to find out the specific steps with which we are able to reproduce these defects. Just by telling the developers that we have a defect, it is not enough. We have to give them perfect steps, that we followed these steps, and after this, you'll surely get this defect. Okay, so first responsibility is always with the QA. However, it may happen that after trying it for a very long period of time, or after trying very hard, you might not be able to reproduce the defect. Okay, in that case, it is the combined effort with the developers that can help you to reproduce the defect. Okay, so the question is, would you still log this defect in the system? Okay, yes, as a QA, if you know that there is a defect, then you have to find. But it should not happen that you are not trying to reproduce these defects. In most of the cases, when a QA finds a bug without any steps, the developer will give it back to the QA and ask them to write down the steps through which it can reproduce it. Okay, so please don't fight with the developers. It is your responsibility. So plus first try harder to find the reproducible steps, because every defect should have some reproducible steps. So first responsibility is with the software tester, but even after trying a lot, if you are not able to reproduce it, then you can always take the help of the developers. Okay, and it should not also not happen that because you have not find the steps, you won't file the bug. You have to file the bug in the system because the defect exists. Okay, now the question arises, how to reproduce steps for such random defects, because you are just doing something and you got that bug, but you don't know what you have done. Okay, so in that case, it really depends on your skill set, smartness and observation. Okay, so as an individual, if you have a very good observation or smartness, you would be able to reproduce this defect. Now, why I am saying this? Because it depends a lot on parameters like operating system, coding issue, environment, platform, any external parameters, and so on. Okay, so it might happen that there is a bug that happened because of some external parameter which you are not aware about. Okay, and next time when you try the same thing, it is working. Okay, so these sort of things can also happen. Okay, so you need to keep your eyes open. Okay, and keep observing what you have done. But do you think it is possible? It is possible that you are doing something else and your mind is involved in something else, and you find a defect of which is not related to what you are doing. then how would you keep a track of what you have done? Okay, so the good approach would be to to take a screenshot or record videos. So usually, uh, while testing, QA record the videos. Okay, so while testing or while doing something, they are actually recording the video of what they are doing. Okay, so you can be smart and use such tools where you are recording the videos. Okay, so even if something that happens without your knowledge, you can go back to the video and see what you have done and what caused the error. Okay, and for more specific information, you can take the screenshot and attach to the defect which you have filed in the system. Okay, so when you are working somewhere, okay, you can always ask them which recorder they are using to record the whole process of testing, because it might happen due to security reasons. Everybody might be using some different softwares, so you need to learn the recording softwares, how they are using it, and you can record the videos of what you are doing. This will help you to give an idea what you have done in a particular case where you got the defect. Okay, so the intention for a QA is to make sure that you help the developers. You just cannot file a bug which has no proper steps. Okay, so it is the responsibility of the QA to find out the bugs and help the developers. Okay, in some cases, you can always take the help of the developers or anyone that you want. Okay, so that is it about non-reproducible defects. Um, in case if you have not understood the context, then don't worry. I mean, it is not important for interview or something. It is something that I really wanted to discuss with you as a software tester. Okay, I just wanted to understand this about the non-reproducible defects and what you can do to improve finding such non some steps for such random defects. Okay, I hope you have liked the video. I'll see you in the next lecture. Thank you.